Hey guys, what's going on? Josh Pitka here. And in prayer tonight, I just really had in my heart to encourage somebody out there to never be financially unprepared again. And, we are living in times right now where it's about a month, give or take, kind of into this financial worldwide crisis. And there are so many people that, individuals, families, businesses, that are just hurting in a real way financially. Um, and if you're hurting financially, sorry to be just totally real and sometimes gut wrenchingly honest, I get in trouble for it often. Especially my wife gets me in trouble a lot because I just, we have guests over and I just say dumb stuff that's totally real, but it's embarrassing to her and not to me, usually. But um, these videos are sometimes a little tough because it's like live and I don't reclip anything. I don't edit anything. So it's just all shooting from the hip. Sometimes I have some notes like I do tonight, but I want to encourage you to get fired up in this season and to come out of this season and say, you know what, I got to do things differently. I will never be financially unprepared again for a season like this or a time like this where, you might be really hurting right now. And sometimes they say there's two things that can inspire change in your life. One of them's inspiration and one of them's pain. And so if you're in a place of pain right now, my prayer, my hope is that you get so fired up about never being in this place again of pain. And so I want to encourage some people out there to really drill down in this season and get your finances up to date and get a budget. My life changed. I'm 37 right now. My life changed dramatically when I was 25 years old. And really totally did a U-turn when I started budgeting and I started making every dollar count. I woke up at 25 years old and I was deeply in debt and I was struggling and I had, about 10K in debt or something like that, which for a 25-year-old broke youth pastor is a lot of freaking money. And I just decided, you know what? I'm never going to be in this place again. I'm never going to be in this place of not knowing what I'm doing with my money. And so I started figuring it out. And I got plugged into a guy called Dave Ramsey and went to the course. He's got a course called Financial Peace University. And it's, he's a strong Christian guy and biblical principles, all that kind of stuff. And within about a year, I was totally out of debt. And it's that enabled me for the next 4 years to save up a little bit of money. When I got married, my wife and I put a down payment on a little condo and bought a little condo for about 82 grand and had a 20% down payment on that. And we didn't even need a mortgage because we just got like a line of credit. They gave us a home equity line of credit for the remaining like 68 that we owed on it. Paid that down to, to about half, which we still have today and still have a little bit of debt on that. But now it's worth about 180. So it's went up about 100 grand in value in the last 7 years. And we bought our current residence, which is worth about 300 or 320, and we owe about 140 on that. So my goal, and in the next 3 years, is to be totally debt free, paid off our mortgage, everything before I'm 40. So that's a good goal. But I never would have been able to do that if I didn't have a stringent, strict budget. I've got a little bit loose on it over the years, a little bit, but my wife and I sit down every single month and we go over our budget, our monthly budget. It's called a zero-based budget. I would encourage you with all my heart to learn how to do this. And basically what you do is you sit down before the month begins and you write and you spend every dollar on paper before the month begins. So you know exactly, or approximately what's coming in, and you've already spent it. And it's very easy to do. You just look up, Google Dave Ramsey's budget forms and find out how to do it and watch some videos. He's got 7 baby steps that he does. But, one of the things that I've run into a lot of people doing especially kind of like real estate investors and stuff like that, is they borrow a ton of money and buy properties and rent them out. And so they're, you hear the statement, OPM, use OPM. And what they're saying is use other people's money to get rich or to, build wealth. And, the problem with that is, I mean, that's what Dave Ramsey did. That's why Dave Ramsey, if you get plugged into him, he doesn't borrow money ever, doesn't even have a credit card, won't take a credit card for his products. And he sells a ton of products. And the problem with that, it's other people's money is, and usually talking about banks, typically, sometimes it can be other investors and stuff like that. But the problem with that is that in situations like this, let's say you own, 50 properties. And by properties, you might own single dwelling properties or like duplexes or triplexes or quads, or you might own an apartment building with, 10 or 12 or 50 units. And right now, there's a lot of people that can't pay rent. And so if there's people that aren't paying rent, that money's not coming in. And so let's say you own a 50-plex, apartment building that you bought for 20 million or whatever it is. Say you said 50-plex wouldn't be 20 million, it'd probably be like 5 million. Let's say it's $5 million. And you paid a down payment of 500,000 on that, which would be 20%. I think that's 20. I think that's right. Maybe it's $1 million. It would be $1 million. So 5 million, $1 million. You still owe 4, and so your mortgage, you got to pay whatever the mortgage is, 50 grand a month or whatever it is. And my numbers are just totally screwed up. But the point that I'm saying is, if people aren't paying the rent, you're not paying your mortgage. You're defaulting on that, and you're going to go bankrupt. That's what happened to Dave Ramsey. He went bankrupt. And so if this coronavirus thing persists and people don't pay their rent for 6 months or 12 months or whatever it is, the bank's not like, oh, no problem, coronavirus, you don't have to pay your mortgage. No, you still have to pay your mortgage. And so do people who owe, all this money. So there's literally, I was following a guy called Grant Cardone. I listened to a lot of people, and I'm just checking out kind of worldwide what people are doing to build wealth, because I'm interested in that. I love business, and I love reading, and I love, videos, and I love just learning what people are doing to build wealth. And so this guy, Grant Cardone, he's got about, I think it's like 5 billion in debt, something like that, like some kind of crazy, maybe not 5 billion, maybe it's 500 million. Anyway, he's got millions and hundreds of millions of dollars of debt. And so right now, and he's also worth, on paper, his net worth is 500 million or something like that, which is true. It's a true net worth. That's how much equity he has in those properties, properties all over the world, 2,000, apartment complexes and whatever he's bought. But if this thing persists, even though he's worth 500 million on paper, he will be bankrupt within, I don't know what the numbers are, 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Because if people don't pay rent and your mortgage defaults and you can't pay it, and all you can do is maybe start selling stuff, and if you're selling at a discount, because in crazy economic times, you're going to go bankrupt, even though you're worth 500 million. That's what happens to people. They're worth, whatever. There's billionaires that have gone bankrupt overnight because they have so much, they're leveraging so much debt. And so debt is your enemy. And that's what Dave Ramsey teaches. Like, he's only worth $55 million right now, but that's his net worth, but it's his. He owes zero money to anybody. So even if he's got all these mutual funds that are fluctuating and he's lost 10 million overnight, that it's going to come back. He's going to make it all back, and if he holds on to it. But here's what I'm saying. I'm determined never to be in a place where I owe people money again. After I pay off my mortgage, I'm just going to, if I have to have a credit card for business, for flights and stuff like that, it's kind of dumb the way that they do it, at least in Canada. But I'm going to try to be totally debt-free, credit card-free, owe nobody money. There's a verse in the Bible that says the borrower is slave to the lender. I don't want to be slave to anybody. I would encourage you the same way. Never be in this place again. If you're in a predicament right now and you're hurting, you're still going to eat, and if you're not eating, DM me, PM me, whatever it is now, and I'll get you some food. But never be in this place again. Get fired up to get a budget and go deeper. Okay, go deeper than you ever have before. Finances are an important subject. I am not a greedy guy, but I want to take care of my family, and I want to take care of my future posterity, and be an example, and trying to do that. But get fired up, man, and get understanding, get knowledge on finances. So somebody needs to hear this today, and I've got some videos and stuff like that of just explaining my whole story in like depth, and then explaining budgeting. But I mean, there's tons of stuff online. Dave Ramsey is a great resource. Man, has changed my life. And so want to encourage you with that. Have a great night. And I want to encourage you, the biggest financial book in the universe, I think, is this book right here. You do things God's way, and you're never going to lack. You're never going to lack when you follow his principles and follow his precepts. And the blessing of the Lord makes rich. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, the blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. I pray that would be your future as you press into to God, press into his presence and his word, that his blessing would make you rich, and that you would go deeper in that. So bless you guys. Have a great night. Hey, if these videos encourage you, love for you to subscribe, send it to somebody, and just share it with somebody who, especially if you listen. Sometimes feel like I get online and I'm like, well, that was pretty lame, but maybe it'll bless somebody. Other times I'm like, man, I'm so fired up about this. But my commitment to God, my commitment to myself is just to put something out every day that's going to hopefully bless somebody and encourage somebody. And hopefully soon I can get some better video equipment and get something else going. Thanks for the one person who's watching this right now. Love ya. Have a great day, night, whenever you're watching.